Hey guys, welcome back. Dr. T, living your best life here in the Philippines. And right now I am back in Bohol. I've been wanting to do this video for a while and I keep forgetting about it. I wanted to do a 6-month my assessment on what it's like to have been living here in the Philippines for the past 6 months. I've been here a lot longer than 6 months now, but I'm just going to kind of frame it in that way. So I'm going to start on the negative things first. Because I want to end this video on a positive note. I don't want to just sound like I'm a negative Nelly, right? And if you're a Filipina person watching this, don't watch it to the end because there's good stuff coming at the end. The beginning, I am going to say some negative things. But like I said on other videos, if you're new to my channel, my goal is to help people's transitions. If you're moving from another country, expats, moving from America, wherever it is you're coming from, into the Philippines, you need to have an honest assessment on what life is like to actually live here, right? Like I said, most YouTube channels I watch, they paint this picture of the Philippines just being like this ultimate paradise. And that's just not true. It's not that it's that bad either, but that's just not an accurate representation on what it's like to live here day to day. So I'm going to tell you my experience. And again, yours may vary, right? Like if you're an expat and you've lived here, I see comments on my videos sometimes, oh, I've lived here 15 years and that's not my experience. Well, that might not be your experience. This is my experience, right? So, and I like to share other people's experiences. Like I said, I don't come up with these things in a vacuum. I meet lots of expats, literally probably on a daily, if not at least weekly, if not daily basis. I bump into expats somewhere and you chit chat with them, and some of them you become friends and you share stories and you sit down and you have coffee and etc. So these aren't things that I've just pulled out of my own experiences. These are things I've gotten from other people, right? So, all right, having said that, I'm going to start little and then kind of build up. So one of the things that it annoys me and apparently a lot of expats in the Philippines is just overall cleanliness. And I've talked about this on other videos. It is very, very normal here to go into major stores, restaurants, malls, go into a bathroom. You're lucky to find toilet paper. And I seen that on expat forums and I kind of thought it was a joke before I moved to the Philippines. I thought people were over exaggerating and I thought to myself, there's no way it could be that bad, right? No, it is that bad. I'm telling you, you can go into nice restaurants. You can go into nice stores. You can go into, like I said, shopping malls, legit big malls. Go into the bathroom. There's no toilet seats on the toilets. It's just like the ceramic bowl. And then there's no toilet paper. They have the bidet, the butt sprayer, right? And nothing to apparently wipe yourself after that. So apparently you're just supposed to walk around with a wet ass, I guess. So that I'm not really sure about what that's about. So that annoys me. There's no paper towels anywhere. I'm lucky to see any in the entire country. You have to go buy them yourself at the store, but no stores are going to have them. It's not like you're gonna wash your hands and apparently you just shake them off and wipe them on your shirt. There's not like, you know, in America or other countries, there's, you know, the towel roller that you dry your hands off with. Every once in a while, you're lucky to have an air dryer for your hands, but chances are that doesn't work anyway either. So you kind of just rinse your hands off and, like I said, air dry. So again, these are nitpicky little things, but they grow on you, I guess, right? Because it's a constant agitation. Because you have to think, oh, if I'm gonna go out to the mall, I better bring some toilet paper because chances are they're not gonna have any toilet paper, right? Little things like that. So, and the other one is restaurants. They give you these bizarre little napkins. They're like this big. It's almost like they're made for babies or something. Like no adult could wipe their face or hands with them. And it's really bizarre. And I don't care, again, where you go. I've been to really nice restaurants here and I've been all over. Like I said, I've been here well over 6 months and traveled around and eaten in lots of different places. And this isn't unique to a couple places. This is 99% of the restaurants give you some half-assed little, it's like a square, maybe like a 1 by 2 inch square napkin. And it's really, really bad. So I'm kind of glancing at my notes here. Trash would be the other one. I talked about this on other videos. Everywhere you go is trash on the streets, beaches, I don't care where you go. Waterfalls, I talked about that if you watch my waterfall videos. You have these amazing waterfalls in the middle of this tropical, like oasis, and you get there and there's Red Horse beer bottles all over the place and trash, and just people cook out and they just leave all their garbage there. There's, like I talked about before, there's no park service, there's no sanitation services, there's nobody coming in and cleaning up and gathering all this junk. I seen a video the other day. It said the title of it was "Siquijor would be beautiful if it wasn't for all the garbage." I haven't been to Siquijor yet, so I don't know. But like I said, traveling around the Philippines, I guarantee that that's very accurate, that the beaches are just littered with garbage. There's one here, and I've done a video on it, South Palms Beach. Well, they just changed the name. That's spotless. It's meticulously well maintained, but that's a private beach, so that's rare. But for the most part, the trash, it just gets on your nerves because it's just dirty and disgusting. It looks unsanitary and unsightly. And the other thing, and I talked about this in other videos, the locals burn their garbage. So a lot of places, they don't have, like you see in Western countries, we have trash pickup. Everywhere I've lived my entire life, you have trash pickup at least once a week, if not twice a week. Here, there's almost no such thing as that. Luckily, I live in a neighborhood that actually have somebody that picks up the trash, but it's like a private dude. It's not the government organization. This is like the guys that we pay basically to do it. So as a result, the locals, what they do is they mound up their garbage and they burn it. So you see clouds of black smoke billowing out, and it's disgusting. And I talked about air quality before, and it gets on your nerves. Another one, and I'm going to do a video on this, is stray dogs. And this, again, sounds like I'm nitpicking a little bit, but I almost can't overemphasize enough of the amount of annoyance that these things create on a day-to-day basis. So stray dogs are everywhere. And I mean everywhere. I drive out my neighborhood, live in a little community. I drive out my neighborhood. Every day there's a pack of about 8 stray dogs, and they all kind of hang out together. And you think, oh, what's the big deal? There's a lot of stray dogs there. Well, the big deal is rabies, apparently. I'm going to do a video on this. I'm going to post that probably later this week. Rabies in the Philippines is absolutely insane. It's like 2,000 times worse, literally, than it is in America. Kids are getting bitten by stray dogs very, 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 very often here and dying because they don't have the money to get the vaccines, etc. So I'll talk about it in that video. And the other thing is driving. I talked about that in my motorcycle video. The dogs freak me out, honestly, almost worse than the bad Filipino drivers because they're everywhere, literally everywhere. And I've seen 2 dead dogs in the past week right outside my neighborhood. Cars ran them over. So it's not like in America we have, different cities have different government services that will collect stray dogs. They don't do that here. There's just hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of stray dogs everywhere you go. So it freaks you out driving. I sure as hell don't want to get bit by one. So other one would be tech. So on that, this is very, very, very common. I don't care where you are in the Philippines, is brownouts, no electricity. So the electric just randomly goes out. Sometimes it's scheduled to go out. Here in Bohol, what they do is they post on Facebook, the local electric company. What they do is they'll post, but just this week alone, it's went out, 2 times? And one time it was from 6 a.m. until 1 p.m. So you have to leave the house if you don't have a generator, you don't have that kind of, backup systems, etc. So for me, I talked about this in other videos. I actually work online some. So I need to have access to internet. So that really, really messes me up. Like the other day when it was out from 6 a.m. to 1, I had to leave and go to the mall over in Tagbilaran to get wireless internet and sit there in the air conditioning because it is getting really, really hot right now this time of year in the Philippines. So you don't want to sit at home with no air. At least I don't, right? So can you deal with it? Yeah, you just have to plan. And when I was over in Cebu, when I was over in Lapu-Lapu in Mactan, it wasn't that bad. I had brownouts that would happen every once in a while, but it was rare. And when they did, it was really short. And the condo that I was at actually had a backup generator that they would kick on. It took them about an hour to get it fired up. But so my advice would be, what I'm going to do is buy a little portable, not like a gas generator, because those things are just kind of annoyingly loud. You only need it to last, like I said, 4 to 6 hours, maybe 8 hours tops. So they make solar generators. Actually, I've been looking into those. So I'm going to get one of those, I think, and this way you have a way to charge it as well via solar. So you have to be prepared and just know that that is 100% definite a thing. And it may be different. And out in the province areas, I'm sure it's much worse than I live in my house is in Panglao. I'm about 10 minutes from Alona Beach. So it's not like I'm out in the middle of a province in the middle of nowhere in the jungle, right? I live in a residential neighborhood. So that's definitely a problem that you have to contend with. Internet is always reliable. I get that question a lot on my videos. I've never had a problem with internet. It's not the fastest, maybe, that you're used to, but everything I can stream Netflix and YouTube and do my work online and upload YouTube videos. I have no issues there. So internet seems to be good to go. One would be, made me think of this, would be cell phone service. Cell phone service here sucks. Bad. Like, I don't get reception a lot of places that I'm at. In America, I had Verizon, never had an issue. You can almost be anywhere in the country and have really good internet and cell phone connectivity. So that's definitely something. Some carriers are better than others. I have Smart, which apparently is not one of the better ones to have here. What's the better internet, or sorry, a cell phone service? Globe? Globe or TM is the better of the cell phone companies. Oh yeah, one more. And then I'm going to get to the good stuff. So again, not just bashing the Philippines, but I want to paint an accurate picture for folks wanting to move here. So processes. The best way I can describe this is, and I said this in another video, think about being zapped back into 1985, and that's what it's like here in the Philippines. I'll give you a crazy example. I went to convert my American, and I'll do another video on this because that process was not at all what other YouTubers make it sound like, to get a Philippine driver's license, because you can only drive on an American driver's license, an English license, for 3 months. And then if you get pulled over by the LTO and they realize that you've been in the Philippines longer than 3 months, they can give you a big ticket, they can impound your motorcycle, all kinds of stuff, hassles that you don't want. So anyway, eventually I got a Philippine driver's license. And what they give you is literally a sheet of notebook paper, and it's printed on it. And I looked at it and I asked the lady, and it's huge. It's like literally takes up almost an entire sheet of notebook paper. And I said, is this my license, or do I take this somewhere else to get like an ID card, like a laminated, like what we're used to in most countries, right? That you have a hard, like a credit card style identification. And she said, no, we're out of the plastic. And I said, okay, is that like just a today thing? Do I come back next week? Or when am I going to get my plastic? Oh, it's been years since we've had those. Apparently they haven't had them for years. She said, when you renew your driver's license, then you'll get an actual card, which is in 4 years. So I'm supposed to apparently just have a piece of paper that your driver's license is on. Like, I don't know that we've been doing that in America since maybe like the 1960s or 50s. I couldn't even fathom, I guess. So you just have to know those things. And they kind of, when you first get here and you see it, you're like, what year is this? This is 2024, correct? Like I didn't step back until 1945. So processes are literally archaic and really, really frustrating. Things like simple things. And I got the videos on this. I got to post them. The process of going from the ferry from Cebu to Bohol and taking a motorcycle, for example, from Cebu to Bohol or Bohol to Cebu, etc. You have to buy the ticket in person. You can't do it online. You can sort of do it online if you have a Philippines bank account, but you have to go to the ticket counter because they have to verify your ID in person and all this kind of stuff, which is a whole nother process. So processes here, like I said, just expect to be very, 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 very agitated with those anything government related, anything, almost any process related, honestly. Like I talked about my motorcycle buying video process. That was extremely frustrating, actually. So, all right. So again, don't look at this and say, oh, this guy's just, why don't you just stay in the US? You hate it in the Philippines. That's not what I'm saying. That's not what I'm saying at all. I've seen on some expat groups, anytime an expat points out anything about the Philippines, Filipinos are very protective of their country, and I get it. You're proud, and I get that, right? But, and I've talked about this in other videos, I could sit here and bash America for 2 hours straight, trust me. America is not the great, wonderful country that people think it is either. Right? So if you were a Filipino wanting to move to America, I would sit here and tell you all the bad things about America. Hey, you need to be aware of all these things, right? Before you just blindly move over to America and think it's the wonderland, right? So that's what I'm trying to do. It's not a bash the Philippines thing. It's an awareness, because I don't want, because it's a big move, right? For expats wanting to relocate. Like, I uprooted my entire life. I did it all at once. I sold everything. I got rid of my car. I sold a house. I sold my furniture. I donated literally truckloads of stuff to Goodwill and different organizations that were just picking up stuff that I didn't want to deal with selling. So it was a major, major move. So when you're making that kind of move in life, right, you want to be sure as shit that it's the right thing. So that's why I'm doing what I do, because I don't want people to get here and be like, holy crap, this is not what other YouTube channels made this out to be, right? So my advice would probably be come visit, and not on vacation. I mean, if you could get off 3 months or 6 months off of work, something like that, maybe do this, something like that, and kind of make an assessment. The only downside I will caution you on that is there's a learning curve. And I talked about this on another video. I'll be perfectly honest. My first month here, I wasn't too sure about the Philippines. Had I not signed a year lease, and I paid for my lease all up front. I paid the whole year in advance because I didn't want to deal with that. So I was locked into it. And I did that on purpose. It wasn't because I'm a dumbass. I actually did that on purpose because I thought, well, then I'm 100% committed to living here for at least a year, because I figured that is a better lock-in time. At 6 months, a year, you're going to know, okay, yes, I can live here and this is pretty good, or maybe this isn't for me and I have to move. So my only thought on committing maybe to like a 3-month recon mission, so to speak, to check out to see if the Philippines is for you, is it gives you an easy out to say, you know what, maybe this isn't so good. Because the learning curve for me was the first month here honestly kind of sucked, in my opinion, because it was so drastically different than from what I was used to, where I'm from and how I lived and et cetera, and just the cultural differences and all that kind of stuff. So honestly, there were times I thought about just saying, maybe screw it, this isn't quite what I thought it was going to be. But now that I'm here longer, those things that are annoyances are just that. They're annoyances. And I kind of laugh at them now. I'm like, yeah, I guess we better grab some wet wipes because we're going to the mall, you know, things like that. So, all right. So now to the positive things. Let's talk about the good things. And let me answer this one. I'll tie it into the positive. Someone asked on a comment on one of my videos the other day was, why did he move to the Philippines? Honestly, because, and I talked about this in my one video on the top 4 reasons to move to the Philippines, is cost of living, big one, and way of life. I have it very, very, very easy here. I have zero stress. I have no worries about work. I have nothing. I do a little bit of online stuff. It doesn't take me much time. I can live extremely, extremely, extremely comfortable here on what I make. In America, I would have to go back to work and work 40, 50, 60-hour work weeks, and I don't want to do that. Thankfully, I was young enough to relatively retire at a young age, and I can live very well here and actually enjoy my life. One of my early videos on YouTube, I made the comment, I think it was the title in the video, was "Live Before You Die." The typical attitude in the West is work until you're 65, then retire at some shit job you probably hated for the last 20 damn years, and then you're too old, too miserable, too tired, right? Too out of shape, too overweight, whatever it is, or you just don't feel like it, right? You're comfortable, you have a house, you got all these things, right? I don't want to travel the world. I'm not going to sell all my crap and move to the Philippines or Thailand or anything like that. So I wanted to do this while I was young. I was not going to be that guy. I made that decision years ago, actually. I'm not going to be that guy that works until I'm 65 or even 60. I'm not going to be that guy. Not. And I'm not, and I'm very, very thankful for that. And I'm happy. So I can't do that in America because I'm not rich. I'm not American rich, right? I wasn't born into some rich, wealthy family. So I actually have to work. And I would have to do that in the West. So if you had some financial sense and you're in your 40s or 50s, or maybe you could work remotely from an online job or something like that, and you have that ability, I 100% do recommend it, honestly. Like I said, there's some negatives without a doubt, but the positives are definitely outweigh the negatives. They really do, in my mind, because it's a trade-off, right? Like I said, there's some great things about America. We have kind of all the negative things I touched on in the Philippines. We don't have those things in America. Those don't exist. But what we do have is a lot of other problems, right? We got crime rates that are through the roof. We got shootings. We got mass shootings. We got feminist culture has gone insane, right? This woke virus, like I talked about in another video, permeated, seems to be half of society in the West, in schools where they're teaching gender studies to elementary school kids, and kids are getting their wieners chopped off at 10 years old and picking their own genders, and kids identifying as cats and dogs and rabbits and crap in elementary school, and teachers teaching, Johnny has two daddies in, kindergarten. So you name it. You don't have those issues here. You don't. You have very strong family fabric. You have people that are, whether or not you're religious or not, you have people that tend to be very religious here and very family oriented, right? They look out for one another, very tight-knit communities. Crime rate is actually really low here, believe it or not, compared to America. I'm going to do a whole separate video on that because that's a question I get a lot. And I haven't done a lot of these videos because I don't want to just be the YouTube channel that talks about, how to get girls in the Philippines, because that's not really the focus of me, and it's not really what I want to focus the channel on. But let's be honest, like I talked about in one of my other videos, one of the reasons guys come here is because the better dating opportunities and better marriage potential than they have in the West. And let's be perfectly honest, that is 100% still accurate. I'm going to do another video, maybe more of a funny topic of the age gap in the Philippines. I still see it every day. I could go out right now down to Alona Beach and I'll see a foreigner with a 22-year-old Filipino, and he's 65. You'll see it every single day in the Philippines. So you don't see that in the West unless they're driving a Lamborghini and, are making $5 million a year. Here it's very normal. And the other thing is nobody really looks down on it here either. Even the Filipinos, they don't really look down on it as like a cultural taboo or anything unusual. I think it's just so common here. Maybe they've gotten used to it. I don't know. But so just being honest about that. If you're a Westerner, so cost of living, right? Way of life, dating opportunities, and then, like I said, just cultural differences. And I can only speak for America because that's where I've lived most of my life. The culture in America and the culture here is radically, radically, radically different, and here for the better. Honestly, all those things that I was just saying about America, the crazy wokeness virus, that doesn't exist here. You don't see people with 10 genders and imaginary genders and just inventing their gender every single day depending on how they feel and whatever. You just don't see it. The blue hairs and the face tattoos, you don't see it here. When you do see one, they stand out a lot. Actually, they stand out a lot, and they get a lot of looks. So very different night and day. So my overall assessment, having said all that, sorry, I went on a little longer than I wanted to, but like I said, I wanted to catch a lot of info in this one. That would I do it again? Yeah. Am I going to stay? Yeah. I like it here. I'm happy. I'm very comfortable. I've gotten my groove, so to speak. I know what to expect. And now I kind of laugh about it. I know if I'm going to do anything that's going to be any sort of administrative process, I'm like, let's just plan on this taking 4 hours, even though this should probably take 30 minutes. I'm going to plan on this taking half the day. Because if it doesn't take half the day, I'm not going to be pissed off, right? Because in my mind, I kind of already know that. So now I know how to kind of deal with the little inconveniences, the brownouts and stuff like that. Like I said, you just kind of have to plan for them, and it's not the end of the world. I will take those inconveniences any day of the week over the crap in the West and going back to a 40, 50-hour work week and the keeping up with the Joneses. Oh, I didn't talk about that one. Sorry. One last point. The keeping up with the Joneses mentality in the West, right? Oh, my neighbor just bought a new Mercedes, so I want a new BMW so I can be the cool kid on the block, right? And you get that. You get that literally as adults, right? I'm sure we've all seen it, or you've been guilty of it yourself, right? You want a bigger house. Why? You got 3 or 4 bedrooms already. What do you need a bigger house for? So you can have more empty rooms in your house so you can look cooler to the neighbors and your friends and your family? You don't have that crap here. You just don't. Everybody's happy, living their life, making very little money compared to what we make in the West. They're very happy to just have a nice little house that's clean. They're happy to have a little moped and be able to get to work and get to the store. They don't need to drive a new Mercedes and flaunt it and have Louis Vuitton shoes and purses and all that kind of stuff. So you can keep all that crap, all that mentality, you can keep that in the West any day of the week, and I will stay here and be very happy. So yeah, my overall assessment at this time is, like I said, it's overall there's more good than bad. Let's just say that. There's a lot more good than bad, and the good is very good, honestly. Like I said, I'm very at peace, if that makes any sense. Very at peace and calm. I don't feel stressed, agitated. I'm just happy and content. So I hope that helps. And like I said, a lot in there, but I'd want to make everybody's decision-making process easy. So, all right, a lot more videos to come. All right, see you guys. Like and subscribe. So I'm getting close to 1,000 subscribers, which is going to be kind of cool because this has been a slow build-up for me. So yeah, like and subscribe so I can keep doing these videos for the channel. All right, see you guys.